Continuing on from reference, this is part 2, and we are going to be talking about understanding the values and contrast for tattooing. During the healing phase of the tattoos that you have done, the client's natural immune system will send cells called macrophages to the area of where the tattoo is situated. If you are doing black and grey, this will result in the tattoo lightening up during the healing process. If you are doing colour, you don't have to worry about this process so much because the colour pigment is so strong and thick, it can withstand that process a lot better. With that in mind, when you are doing black and grey, you need to realise that your tattoo is going to drop off around 20 to 30%. This means that we will need to counteract this process the best we possibly can. To do that, you guessed it, we need to darken our reference around 20 or 30%. That way, when it comes to tattooing and that healing process, you have accounted for that 20 to 30% drop off, which gives you a more accurate representation of the reference you are tattooing. This is where the phase of tattooing for the heel comes from. Now, it's really important that you explain this to your clients. Far too often, clients come in for black and grey and they want the wishy-washy, very light black and grey, which isn't going to last. So you need to explain the process to them, that you need to go dark for that tattoo to heal the way that it's meant to. Dark black and grey is good black and grey, and clients will not understand that. If you are new to black and grey, during the process at the beginning, you will question whether you are going too dark. And unfortunately, this is going to keep happening until you understand the palette of washes that you are using. For the first couple of black and grey tattoos that you do, I always recommend telling your client to come back so you can see the heel tattoo and get a good grasp on how your lights heal versus how your darks heal. In black and grey, your lightest tone should always be visible on all skin tones on the heel. What we are going for with that is longevity of the tattoo and keeping that tattoo intact for as long as possible. All tattoos will spread and fade through the natural aging process and exposure to the elements. By ensuring that your lightest tone is visible on the heel, on skin, you are holding up against this process a lot better. Now, most brands that make a pre-made wash do understand this process, and they will make a wash with their lightest tone being visible on the heel. However, some sets include a saturation and a blending wash. Now, these particular washes are really light, and those are primarily used to smooth out your blends and your transitions, but more on that later in the workshop. Every tone that you use needs to be visible. There is no point using lighter tones that will only last maybe a year or even less, depending on the elements that client subjects their skin to. Now, these tones will not hold up on themselves, and that's where contrast comes into play. Contrast is needed in a tattoo to hold the tattoo together. Out of everything, contrast is the number one thing that is needed. If you do not have contrast, your washes are going to look flat and they are just going to get worse over time. There is an ongoing discussion in the tattoo industry of whether it's lines that holds a piece together or not. And I'm here to tell you that it's actually not a line that holds the piece together. It's contrast in realism that holds the pieces together, not lines. Contrast is such a big thing and it needs to be in your pieces. Now, with tattooing, it's not enough just to have dark versus light. I'm not saying have a light wash and then a dark wash next to that to create contrast. Yes, that will create contrast, but you also need black. It's extremely simple to darken up your reference, so how do we do it? Now, it is extremely easy to darken that reference, providing you've done everything in part 1. All you need to do, here we are on Procreate, again, adjustments, hit those curves. Now, once those curves are up, all you need to do is grab your mid-tone and pull it down ever so slightly. Now, if you was to tattoo this reference, you would tattoo it like this, but it would heal like this.